Wow.
Wow. Wow, this is some really deep stuff. I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something. I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me. And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it. And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before. It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session. I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
All right, so I'll start by asking you to think of a part of yourself you'd like to get to know better or change your relationship with.
Well, I don't know the language of all of this as well as you do. But I can say that, I lost my mother a few months ago. And I do believe that she had a lot of narcissistic tendencies. She was a very cruel individual, emotionally unavailable individual. And I've just been thinking a lot lately about being a young girl and trying to navigate and understand a mother who didn't know how to love me. And so I don't really know what part that would coincide with. But I think I would like to understand that little girl and understand the ways that I tried to navigate and the impact that had on me, and ways that I can let go of some of those things, if that makes sense.
Okay. Sure. And when you think about connecting with that part of yourself, what are some of the other parts or sensations, feelings that come up that maybe feel like they get in the way of you connecting with that part?
My desire to conform and be a good daughter. My desire to, I didn't desire to keep the family secrets, but my fear that I would accidentally tell secrets or betray the family in some way, my fears around that. The part of me that really needed affection. Because I really did, and I never got it.
Yeah. So when you think about giving that affection to this kind of younger part of yourself, or this childlike part of yourself, or when you think about turning back to that and learning about it, are there blocks that come up when you think about doing that work?
Yes, because I had very mixed feelings about my mother's touch.
Mm-hmm.
I remember craving her affection, but I also remember recoiling at her touch. And I've never understood that, not fully. I think I can intellectualize it, but I don't know if that's the truth. I don't know if that is in line with my emotional truth or not, or if that's just something I've told myself to cope. In my adult years, I've told myself that it was because she didn't deserve my touch, and so I would pull away. But I think there's a part of me that knows that it's more than that. To just crave her touch so desperately, yet just feel sickened when she did try to hug me or touch me in any kind of intimate way.
Yeah.
Is very confusing to me.
And what are your feelings like in the present day when you think about, like, what are some of the first things that come up in present day when you think about your mother? Not when you think about necessarily your relationship as a young girl with her, but today.
Today, that she's a stranger to me. When she passed away, we were still strangers. That when she, in all the years that we had together, she never, ever fully understood me. I was a mystery to her. And as I got older, I cared less and less about trying to teach her about me. I felt safer with her just not knowing. That felt safe to me, to just let her not know. And but I feel sadness too, because I have my own children, and I do know my own children. It gives me such satisfaction to have that intimacy with them. But I eventually gave up on that and didn't want that with her. I didn't want her to see me or know me anymore at the end.
And how do you feel about when you think about that part that doesn't want her to see you or to know you? Like, how do you feel about that part?
Sad. I feel I don't know if I can find the right word, but unnecessary. It wasn't necessary. She could have known me. We didn't have to get there if she had made the effort to understand me.
Okay. So all the questions I'm asking you, I'm looking for different like parts that I hear coming up, and you shared a lot, and I have kind of I have a list of them here, and so my aim is to help us find one to get to know better in this conversation, and I'll admit I'm kind of trying to avoid going straight to the meeting the child part. And so the questions I've been asking are kind of around, I'm looking for any, what I'll call protectors, any parts that don't want you to get to know this child part, or that have some criticisms or others around your relationship now or that work. So that's kind of why I'm asking all these questions.
Sure. Okay.
I don't know if any of that makes any sense, and I don't want you to feel like you have to make something up. but I'm just letting you know why I'm kind of,
right.
if it sounds like I'm beating around the bush, I kind of am. I'm looking for um, other parts that are there parts that don't want to do that work?
That don't want to do the work with the little girl.
Yeah.
With my I think, well, there are parts that are afraid. There are parts that know that there's a lot of pain that resides there. And it's one of the few areas of unexplored pain in my life.
Yeah.
So there's some fear. And I think the part that doesn't want me to fully accept that I wasn't loved, I don't want to fully accept that. I can kind of believe it on a surface level, but to go back to that and re-see all that evidence is terrifying.
Okay. So so there's an experience of fear of doing the work, and that will cause overwhelm or fear, more so.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And some of that is tied to my grief for my mother. I'm very much avoiding grieving for my mother. My grief for her is going to look very different than my grief for anyone else ever has. And I know that. And it's going to have a lot more anger to it, a lot more sharp edges to it than my grief ever has. And so I think that's all connected, is that going back there is just going to sharpen those edges.
Yeah. So a part that's avoidant, that's being avoidant of doing it. Okay. Would it be okay with you if we tried getting to know that part? Would that be helpful for you? Again, I'm trying to look for any kind of protector parts first.
Sure. The part of me that is avoiding grieving?
Yes.
Yes. I would like to understand that part and know that part.
Great.
Okay.
Where in or around your body do you sense that?
My chest.
Okay.
It feels
Go ahead.
feeling. It's a crushing feeling. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask for more definition about that. So yeah, any other sensations around that crushing feeling?
I think the longer I sit with it, the more it seems to spread outward and upward. Sort of a bit of a suffocating feeling, but a very low key sort of suffocating. I mean, I can breathe, but it's more of a fear of suffocating than a real physical feeling.
Yeah. And when you focus on that part of yourself and you notice that crushing feeling in your chest, how do you feel towards it?
I feel like it might stop me from going too far into the pain. I feel like it's a kind of pain that will give me pause because the pain on the other side of it is so much worse.
Yeah. Okay. But you did mention being curious to get to know it, to understand it better?
Yes.
Okay. See if you can kind of turn inward and kind of look towards that part. Some people are very visual, but just continue focusing on that feeling. Turn towards it and see if there's a way that you can kind of deepen your access to it and let it know that you're curious to get to know it better, and see how it reacts to that.
I feel a questioning. I hear the question. It's like, okay, but are you sure you're ready? Be sure that you're ready. Does that make sense?
Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
That question?
Yes.
Okay. And how are you feeling about your response to that?
That I'll never be ready. That you can't be ready.
Okay.
Such a horrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that you do it anyways. You do it scared.
Mm-hmm.
At some point. Not to the degree that you damage yourself, but to the degree that you know that it's not going to be easy ever.
Try asking that part, what does it want you to know? Or what does it want you to know about it? And just wait for the answer.
It wants me to know that my mother's feelings are not the truth of who I am.
Okay. And how do you feel when you hear it say that? Does that make sense to you? And what are your feelings around that?
It feels like an effort to comfort me because I don't truly want to walk around with the knowledge of why my mother didn't love me. I don't really want that knowledge, but I want healing, and I have to have that to heal. I feel like, or I have to at least look at it, whether I know it or not.
Yeah. It sounds like there's that part that's kind of like afraid to look at it.
Yes.
I guess that's the part that is what we're talking to.
Yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to double check.
So I feel strongly inhabited by that part right now.
Okay. Try asking this part how old it thinks you are. And just wait for the answer.
It thinks I'm 6.
Okay. So the child part, the 6-year-old part, see if you can ask the 6-year-old part to give you some space while you get to know this other part. Because it's like this part is kind of seeing a 6-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my mind, it's kind of like there's a 6-year-old in the room. See if you can ask the 6-year-old to kind of step out
Mm-hmm.
or give some space so you can get to know this part and see how the 6-year-old reacts.
It's hard for me to ask her.
Okay.
It's hard. I don't want to hurt her.
Right. So, which makes sense. So this is just asking, kind of like, you can imagine there's a playroom outside of the room you're in.
Okay.
And and that you're just one wall away, or that this part is just stepping back a little bit to allow you to have this conversation more, but that you're not leaving her behind. And that if you do at any point feel overwhelmed or anything, that, or this part does, that you'll be receptive to listening to it.
Okay. Okay.
How does it react to that?
She's okay.
Okay.
She's gonna go play.
Yeah. So turning back to this kind of crushing feeling part, is there anything else that it wants you to know about it, or the job that it does? You can just ask it directly and wait for the answer.
It wants me to know that I'm resilient. And that I did my job. I did what I needed to do. And that no matter what I learn, that I can still know that I am resilient.
And how do you feel towards it as you learn that from it?
Thankful.
Okay, so go ahead and just show it some thanks for sharing that with you. And try asking it what it's afraid will happen if it doesn't get your attention in that way, if it doesn't cause that sensation, the crushing feeling. What is it afraid will happen?
That I will learn things that I'll never get over. I'll never be able to heal from.
Mm-hmm. And does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, just let it know that makes sense to you, and that you get it, that you understand it, and also that you feel it. When it sends you those feelings, you feel them loud and clear, but also, yeah, its intention makes sense to you.
Okay.
And just see how it reacts to that.
I just feel it softening some.
Okay. Yeah. just kind of thanking it for its intention in keeping you safe from being overwhelmed or whatever, learning things you'll never get over. That it's trying to protect you from that.
Right.
So just see if you can keep showing it some appreciation and compassion or thanks for doing the job that it does, even if you don't love the way that it feels.
I do feel thankful because there was no other person or entity who tried to keep me safe.
Yeah. So it had a really big job to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how are you being with it now? Can you see it, or are you just sensing it?
I can see it.
Yeah. And what's your proximity to it? How close are you to it?
I'm standing just a few feet away.
Okay. And you said it softened when you were able to show it some appreciation.
Yes.
And how are you feeling about just being in that proximity with it and just in this space right now? And are you okay with? I hear you crying a little. Are you okay with being in that space?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with the feelings. I'm okay with being this close. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy to meet this part of me that I don't think I knew existed.
Yeah, just keep showing it that.
Okay.
And then you might try asking it if you could heal this part of you that it's protecting. What other job might it like to do inside of you? If you could free it up from the job it does now.
I'm feeling its desire to help me integrate that new knowledge into who I am. In a really safe way. In a really restorative way.
Yeah. Yeah, so just see if you can kind of let it know that you're open to that and that it can have that job if as you're able to do the deeper work and heal these parts, that's on the table and that you'd like that. And then ask it what it needs from you in the future.
It means me to take care of myself, honor myself.
Is it showing you how that, like what that would look like? You don't have to share all the details with me, but
yeah,
sometimes I like to get kind of detailed on this one and really learn what that would look like.
It would look like me forgiving myself.
And what about continued work with this part? Is there anything that it, like, how would it like for you to engage with it in the future?
I'm sorry, how would it like for me to
engage with it in the future? Is there a way or a frequency or a place, any way that it might like to continue working with you in this way?
It wants me to trust it. It wants me to approach it with trust. Some healthy fear, but some trust.
Yeah.
And to share the job, to share the task of protecting me.
Yeah. Yeah, because it has a lot of wisdom and a lot of experience in that role.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it doesn't want to get fired. It just wants to maybe redirect its energy, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And help you out.
Yeah. Oh.
And how about the sensation in the chest feeling? Is that changing? Has it changed since we started?
Yes. I feel my airways have opened up. There's still kind of some shakiness, but it's open. It's not closed off and tight anymore.
Yeah. Well, I've exhausted my list of questions for this part personally. So at this point, I would just say to thank it and thank any other parts that kind of allowed for this work, like that 6-year-old that was able to step aside and let you work with this part. Just kind of thank all those parts that, allowed you to go to this place.
Okay. Okay.
And, a lot of times when you've met a part for the first time, kind of prescription is usually to keep checking in with it every day for a couple weeks, even if that's just a minute of just reconnecting with that part, where it is,
No, that makes sense.
And yeah, it's just so you keep that relationship kind of fresh and keep those channels open.
Right. That was pretty intense.
Yeah.
But helpful. It feels like it opened up a little space inside me.
Great. Yeah, and if you want to, talk some more sometime, again, like we can look out for these type of protectors, and then if you want to someday, we can kind of work on looking to connect with the younger parts, that little girl, and any other parts that feel like they would be overwhelmed.
I would like that.
Yeah, great. Well, do you have any questions for me? And anything else you'd like to talk with me about?
I don't think so. Just where do we go from here? Will I hear from you again, or?
Sure. Yeah. You can use that same link, I think, to book another call. And I'm fine if, I think there's space that you could talk to me once a week if you like.
Okay.
If not, it would be every other week, but I'll definitely find time for you to talk with you.
Okay. You have a very comforting voice. That's nice.
Thanks.
All right. Well, I will
Okay.
get on the link and plan to speak to you again.
Wonderful. It's nice meeting you.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right.
Good night.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Zikri, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.